And the Mishnah in Rosh HaShana, Daf Zayin Amar Aleph says, very famous Mishnah, Ba'arba Parakim, the 4 times in the year, Olam Nidan, Hashem judges the world, the Pesach, Al Tfuah. By Pesach, Hashem judges the world on the Tfuah, how the wheat will grow. Ba'atzeres Al Peres Ilan, by Shavuos, on the fruits of the trees, how it will grow that year. And Rosh HaShana, Kol boy olam ovrim lefanav kivnei meroim shenemar hayetze yachal libim hameven kol maasayim. Rosh HaShana, all people go in front of Hashem like sheep. Shenemar hayetze yachal libim hameven kol maasayim. Hashem creates everyone's heart and understands what's in it. And on the Sukkot, Hashem gives a judgment on the water, how much it's going to rain that year. Now, if you read the Mishnah, it's a little bit interesting the way the Mishnah sets it up. The Mishnah starts off, Pesach, judgment on the Tfuah. Shavuos, Peres Ilan. It doesn't say Rosh HaShana, there's judgment on people, and Sukkot on water. It said, Rosh HaShana, Kol Bo Olam Boyim L'fanai Kivnei Meroim. Everyone comes in front of me, all the people come in front of me like sheep. Shenemar Hayotze Yachal Libam. All of a sudden, the Mishnah brings a pasuk. We have to bring a proof that Hashem judges the world, people, on Rosh HaShana. And we don't see in the pasuk anywhere that from there that Hashem judges on Rosh HaShana. All the pasuk says is Hayotze Yachal Libam Hameven Akol Ma'aseyim. Hashem understands what's going on in everybody's heart. That's all it says. So why are you bringing a pasuk for? Pesach, Sukkot, Shavuos, no pasuk. It says why Hashem judges. Rosh Hashanah we bring a pasuk, and the pasuk doesn't even say that happened in Rosh Hashanah. It just says Hayotze Yachal Libam Hameven Akol Ma'aseyim. What's that pasuk for? Why do we need that pasuk? And what's the Mishnah telling us with that pasuk? Question A. Question B. After davening, we have the Ani Mamins. Ani Mamin Muna Shleima, 13 Ani Mamins. If you look at the Ani Mamins, it says 13 different things you have to believe in, and it doesn't say any psukim, but any of the Ani Mamins besides one. It says you have to believe Hashem Hu Bari Manach Alabruim, Barishu V'Achraim. By one of the Ani Mamins, it says a pasuk. Which one is it? It says Ani Mam Amunu Shalema Shabaris Baruch Shema Yedea Kol Maaseh B'nei Adam. Hashem knows everyone's doings, B'chol Machshavosa, and all their thoughts. Shenemar Hayotze Yachad Libam Hameven Al Kol Maaseh. Only in one of the Ani Mamins is there a pasuk. Why? Why is that? Why in that Ani Mamin we're bringing a pasuk, and the rest of the Ani Mamins do not bring a pasuk? So I went to a pshat from Moshe Shapiro, Hatzal, a beautiful insight into what Rosh Hashanah is all about. What are we doing on Rosh Hashanah? What's happening on Rosh Hashanah? So he says that on Rosh Hashanah we don't find a lot. He didn't say that, I'm adding a little bit to what he said, but on Rosh HaShana, if you look through the davening in Rosh HaShana, and we've spoken about this in previous years, you don't find so much to do with tshuva. It doesn't say so much about tshuva in davening Rosh HaShana. The main part of Rosh HaShana davening is Hashem remembers us, shofris, malchus. We make Hashem, we declare that Hashem is the Melech. We don't find so much throughout Rosh HaShana davening tshuva. Yom Kippur, something else. We have al chetz. We ask for slicha or mechila. It says in the bracha of davening and musaf that it's a yom of slicha v'kapara. In Rosh Hashanah, yom hazikara, day of remembering. That's what it is. What does that mean? So he said a chiddush like this. He said that on Rosh Hashanah, Hashem is not taking us to judgment for our various that we did. He's not judging us. The judgment that we have in Rosh Hashanah is not, oh, you did so many Averis, so many mitzvahs, So you get punished for the averis, you get schar for the mitzvahs. He says that's Yom Kippur is a day of Slicha Mechila. We try to get rid of all our averis. Rosh HaShana is a day that Hashem sees what type of people we are. Meaning, in Rosh Hashanah, Hashem decides that if somebody does lots of averis, a person who does lots of averis, what does that mean? He's a bad person? No, we don't know. We don't know. Maybe he doesn't know. Maybe there's reasons why he's doing the averis. He's not doing it because he wants to be boiged by Hashem. He's not doing it because he wants to come out chas v'shalom against Hashem. A human being is a human being. A person can do averis sometimes. Hashem judges a person. I'll say like this: there's a Gemara that says in Shabbos. The Gemara says, a person who judges his friend favorably, Hashem judges the person favorably. Now, what does that mean? We're used to understanding when you judge someone favorably. What does that mean? You see somebody, you're not sure if what he did was right or wrong.
Someone driving on Shabbos.
See someone driving on Shabbos, right? You look at all the stories about being down somewhere in the Kav Zchus. There's books about it already. There's stories of people who down somewhere in the Kav Zchus, how they saw a story that happened, and when they find out the truth, they see they made a mistake. Right? What happened? Someone driving on Shabbos, a Jew driving on Shabbos. He's Mechal Shabbos. Now you find out that he was driving to save somebody's life. Right? So that's how the world translates. You done somebody in the Kav Zchus, you judge them favorably. And I said it's a big mistake. That's not what Dan L'Kav Zchus means. Dan L'Kav Zchus does not mean that you see somebody doing something, it looks like he's doing an Aveira, he's probably doing an Aveira. That's called don't be Dan a person. Don't judge a person at all. You have no idea what's going on. You see somebody driving a car at Shabbos, you have no idea why he's driving it. It's not called Dan L'Kav Zchus. You're missing some information. Dan L'Kav Zchus, the real meaning of Dan L'Kav Zchus, and I bring it back from this Gemara, is you know somebody's doing something wrong. You see someone is doing something wrong. You know he's doing something wrong. The question is, why is he doing that wrong? That's called Dan L'Kav Zchus. You know somebody's doing something wrong. You see he's doing something wrong, especially if someone does something wrong to you, right? Why is he doing that to me? Right? You have to be Dan L'Kav Zchus. You know he's doing something wrong, but maybe there's a reason why he's doing it.
Because his Yetzer was so powerful.
Right? It could be, if you would be in his position, you would be doing the same thing. You don't know why he's doing it. That's the real Dan L'Kav Zchus. So what's the riot to this? Because the Gemara says that Hadonas Chaver L'Kav Zchus, the Eibishter Hashem will be Dan him L'Kav Zchus. Now Hashem knows when you're doing something, if you're doing it right or wrong. He makes no mistakes. Hashem makes no mistakes. If Dan L'Kav Zchus means when you judge somebody, make sure you're not making a mistake. Make sure what he's doing is really wrong before you judge him. How can you say that about Hashem? Hashem judges us like L'Kav Zchus? I mean, if we do something, Hashem's not sure if we did an Aveira or not, so Hashem's going to dan us L'Kav Zchus that we didn't do an Aveira? That's not what it means. It can't mean that. What does it mean? Hashem will judge us L'Kav Zchus means that Hashem will take into consideration the reason why we did the Aveira. That's what it means. So when someone does an Aveira, Hashem doesn't just look at the Aveira. The person did something wrong. What do you do it for? The person got angry. Why do they get angry for? It's an Aveira to get angry. So Hashem takes the whole picture. This person, his nature in a certain way, and this thing caused it, whatever the reasons are. Hashem takes everything into consideration, and after everything is said and done, He is Dan L'Kav Zchus. Hashem says, maybe there's a reason why this Aveira was done, and not just he did it because he wanted to do the Aveira.
Well, he knows the exact reason.
Right.
He knows everybody's mind.
Right, but that's what it means. Dan L'Kav Zchus, Hashem could take and see the reasoning behind it, and then judge a person favorably. Or, you could do it differently. A person did something wrong, he did an Aveira, Hashem could say, you did an Aveira? Punishment, period. You have good excuses, so what? Dan L'Kav Zchus, how Hashem means, He'll take into consideration the reasoning behind the Aveira. So Adonas Chaveira L'Kav Zchus, Hashem is Dan you L'Kav Zchus. What it means is basically when someone knows his friend is doing an Aveira. He's not making a mistake in his judgment. He sees him doing an Aveira, he knows he's doing an Aveira. Still, he says, maybe there's a reason why he did it. I don't understand him. That's when Hashem comes and says, I'll do the same thing to you, and I'll be dying you l'kavschos. That's what the Gemara means. Hadaras chaver l'kavschos, which is the big schos for Yom Narah. Someone wants to prepare himself for Rosh HaShana. Hashem comes and He judges us on Rosh HaShana. How Hashem is going to judge us is the way we judge other people. That's what the Gemara says. I saw a beautiful word. I heard a beautiful word from the Baal Shem Tov. I didn't see it inside. I heard it. That the Mishnah says Hashem is nefra min adam. Ha'amim, the person knows about it. Yedea u'min eini yedea. Something the person does not know that Hashem is paying him back. What does that mean? Hashem pays back the person. Sometimes he knows about it, and sometimes he doesn't know about it. How is it possible that Hashem could pay somebody back and he doesn't know about it? Something bad happens to somebody.
Something supposed to bad happen.
Huh?
Something bad was supposed to happen.
No, Hashem pays somebody back. Bad.
Oh, bad.
Yeah, and Hashem pays him back for what he did
Not
wrong.
everything you remember.
When it happens, you know. When something bad happens to somebody, you know about it. So what does it mean that it's Yedua and not Yedua? You know and you don't know. So I heard Hashem the Baal Shem Tov, he said, what it means is, that when Hashem comes to judge a person, He wants to see, how do I judge this person? He did an Aveira, right? Well, maybe there's reasons why he did Aveira. So Hashem gives the person a Nesoyin, a test. I'm going to make your friend do the same Aveira. Well, I'll let you see your friend doing the same Aveira. Let me see how you judge that person. If you judge that person, and you say, oh, he did an Aveira, oh, he's a terrible person, what did he do it for? And you're not down the kavschos, Hashem says, oh, that's the way you judge? Okay. Now when it comes to you, I know how to judge you also. That's the way you judge people? I know how to judge you also. That's what it means that Hashem could pay you back sometimes when you don't know. What does it mean I don't know? When you're judging that person, you are putting on yourself judgment. Hashem is going to judge you that way. So we see that when Hashem judges people, there's no clear-cut path. Every person gets the same judgment. Certain people get judged one way, and certain people get judged the other way. So if someone judges people favorably, Hashem judges them favorably. So Moshe Shapiro said that in Rosh HaShana, the judgment of Rosh HaShana is not that Hashem judges. So this is what's going to happen to you this year, A, B, and C. Hashem judges you of how He should judge you. That's the judgment of Rosh Hashanah. The judgment of Rosh Hashanah is not Hashem decides exactly what's going to happen. He decides on Rosh Hashanah how He's going to judge you for that year. Are you tzaddikim? Or are you part of the Rishonim? What does tzaddikim mean? You're judged in a certain way. Hashem judges tzaddikim favorably. Rishonim, Hashem chas v'shalom judges the other way. He doesn't judge them favorably. There's two ways of giving out a judgment. You can do it in a way that's easy for the person, and do it in a way that's hard for the person. Right, Hashem, if someone has to get a payment of something bad, there's different ways of doing it. If you care about the person, just split it up. It won't be a big thing at one time. There's different ways of judging people, even though they both need punishment. So that's what he said.
It's interesting. It's the exact opposite of what the general rule about judgment is. We say justice is blind.
Right.
Meaning it doesn't matter.
Correct.
If the law is the law,
correct.
Is the law.
That's right. It's the opposite.
Here, it's the exact opposite.
Correct. It's the opposite of regular law.
Right.
It's the opposite of regular law. And the reason is because a regular person, a regular judge, it's impossible for him to judge a person. He doesn't know. He sees he did something wrong. Yeah. The person's going to give him an excuse. Is that true or not? He doesn't know.
All you have is the facts.
All you have is the facts. And the guy can be telling you lies about the facts, why he did it and how he did it. You'll never know. The only judge that can judge a person fully and correctly about everything around is Hashem. Otherwise, a regular person can't do it. A regular judge can't do it. So that's the judgment of Rosh Hashanah, he says. So he says, that judgment is a judgment that only Hashem can do, and that's what the pasuk means. It says in the Mishnah that everyone comes lefonai k'bnei meroim, shenema yotzi yachal libam, hamevin al kol ma'asayim. The judgment of Rosh Hashanah is Hashem has to know everyone's machshava and everyone's reasoning. Otherwise, He can't judge us. That's why we need a pasuk. The pasuk is proving to us that Hashem, when He judges on Rosh Hashanah, how does He judge? He doesn't just take the fact, okay, did something wrong? That's the judgment. For doing this, for Mechal Shabbos, this is the punishment. It's not that way. He goes into understanding every person why he did it and how he did it, and that is the judgment of Rosh Hashanah. A new type of judgment. So we say that's also Pshat and Animamims. We have Animamims. The Animamims we can understand. But when it comes time to the Animamims, here already needs to bring a pasuk to it. When Hashem understands the machshavas of a person, He's not going to judge a person. The next Animam is Hashem gives payment for those who do it. When He punishes the ones who don't listen. That Animamim you can't say by itself. You have to have the prerequisite of the one beforehand. What is that? That is that Hashem knows everyone's machshava. He understands everyone's machshava. He knows why we're doing it and how we're doing it. And then He'll decide, this person, this is the way I judge him. This is the way I'm going to judge him this whole year as a tzaddik, or chas v'shalom, the opposite as a rasha. Then, afterwards, a person goes ahead and he tries to do tshuva on all of his haveris. Now, we said one part. One part was that a person who's done other people l'kavschus, Hashem is done him l'kavschus. The way you judge other people, Hashem judges you. But there's something else also. That's a Gemara. The Gemara says so, that Kal Danas Chaver l'kavschus, Hashem is done him l'kavschus. A very important Gemara to know before Rosh HaShana. If a person can be kabbalah upon himself to dan people l'kavschus, it'll be a big meilitzation for him during Rosh HaShana. But that's not all. It doesn't stop there. You know, the avoid in Rosh HaShana is not, okay, you know what? Everybody does something bad. He's a great person. And okay, I'm also great, right? I did things wrong. Hashem will be damning the kavschus. No. There's another part to the avoid in Rosh Hashanah, which is to be mekabel malchus shemayim that Hashem is melech. Now there's a Gemara in Rosh Hashanah that says that four things really, dalad dvarim mekaring gzardin shel adam. Four things rip up the gzardin of a person. If a person had a gzardin, a verdict of whatever it is, a bad verdict, four things can rip it up. Tzedakah, which as we know, tzedakah. Tza'aka, it's crying out to Hashem. Shinui Hashem, change your name. Now, I'm not going to get into this. There's a whole question. They're trying to speak about it. Change my name, so that's it. So until now, I was Baruch, and now I'm Moshe. Okay? Deal. So now everything is, I'm a different person. Right? Like, who are you fooling? Okay, so today my name is Baruch. And, okay, my name is Moshe today. Hashem, you want to punish Baruch? Okay, punish him. He's not around anymore. Now I'm Moshe. So Moshe asked the kasha. Moshe says, how does that help? Moshe changes his name, so now he's not going to punish anymore. Moshe speaks about it. And the fourth thing is Shini Maisa. Shini Maisa means it changes his actions, his deeds. Now what's Shini Maisa? Moshe speaks out. Shini Maisa is tshuva. He says, tzedakah. He's saying davening, right? Tzedakah, tefillah, tshuva, tshuva, tefillah, tzedakah, mavir tzrei agazera. Where does it come from? It comes from this Gemara. Shah says it comes from this Gemara. Tshuva is Shini Maisa. Tefillah, he says it's tzedakah. And tzedakah is tzedakah. We don't say Shini Hashem in davening. I guess there's a reason for it. But we say tefillah, tshuva, tefillah, tzedakah, mavir tzrei agazera. Three things. Now, tzedakah we understand. So tzedakah, you give tzedakah, you have a schus, helps other people. We may not understand why it's much more than any other mitzvah, but whatever it is, you're definitely doing something good by giving tzedakah. So my view is right. Tshuva, you're changing yourself, you're doing tshuva, of course. It's my view is right. What's tzedakah? Tefillah, davening to Hashem. So why is that my view is right? What happened? You're not changing, because if the tefillah would mean that you're changing, that's already included in tshuva. So what does it mean, tefillah, tzedakah, crying out to Hashem, is ma'avirin esraya hagazera? What does that mean? Why is it my Venus Ragazera? You're not doing tshuva. First thing is going to come, you have a choice. One of three things. Doesn't you have to have all three of them? One of these things are my Venus Ragazera. So I'm not going to do tshuva. It's too hard for me to do tshuva. I know I do Averis, and to change is hard. I tried last year, I tried 2 years ago, I've been trying the past 20 years to do tshuva, and I come back to the same thing. So I decide I'm doing tefillah instead. So why is tefillah something that's by Virin, that's Royal Gezerah? What's tzedakah? What does it do? So this already is brought down a lot already in this forum, that what is tefillah, what does tzedakah mean? The Zohar says, Atem nitzavim hayom kulchem b'fnei Hashem Elokeichem. And we spoke this out once before. Atem nitzavim hayom, you're standing in front of Hashem. Hayom means what? Hayom means Rosh HaShana. So the Zohar says, Atem nitzavim hayom, that day is Rosh HaShana. Nitzavim is a lashon, is something that's used when you're standing still. Atem nitzavim hayom, you're standing still when in Rosh HaShana. Why are we standing still in Rosh HaShana? Atem nitzavim hayom kulchem, we're standing still on Rosh HaShana. Rosh HaShana is the time, it's the opposite. You want to do more and accomplish more, right? What's lashon nitzavim that we're standing still? So pshat is like this. Pshat is that we find in davening, there's one time in davening a person has to stand still, is not allowed to move. Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. A person is not allowed to move, he has to stand, he is not allowed to move around. Why is that? So the Rishonim say already, it's brought down in halacha, because a person then is being mekabel upon himself oil malchus shamayim. He's being mekabel upon himself, he's accepting upon himself that Hashem is the king of the world and Hashem runs the world. You can't do that, while you're in motion. You can't do that while you're thinking about anything else. And that's why we cover our eyes when we say Shema. You can't be thinking about anything else. Why? Because accepting upon yourself that Hashem runs the world means that He does everything and nothing else is important. Hashem runs the world, it's up to Him, He can do whatever He wants. You cannot do that while you're in motion, because then it's not a full kabbalah tzamach shemayim. We say in davening, in Rosh HaShana, Maloich al kol ha'olam kulai b'chvaydecha. Famous words. We say in Musaf davening, Maloich, Hashem should reign, al kol ha'olam kulai, on the whole world, the whole, b'chvaydecha, in His covet, in His glory. So Taz has a kasha. What's the lashon Maloich al kol ha'olam kulai? There's a song, Kol ha'olam kulai, right? Think about the words. Kol ha'olam kulai, the whole world, the whole. It's repetitious. What does it mean, Kol ha'olam kulai? So the Taz says that there's a halacha that when you need, let's say you need a kais, right? You have to have a kais for kiddush. So you have to drink the kais. You have to drink the whole kais. You can drink roiv. Roiv of drinking of the cup is enough. Why? There's a halacha of rubai kekulai. Roiv, most of something is as if you have the whole thing. It's a halacha that comes up a lot. Rubai kekulai, roiv is like you have the whole thing. So he says, when you say, Maloich al kol ha'olam, Hashem reigns over the whole world, a person can think, the whole world is roiv. Most of the world. Rubai kekulai. That means if I accept Hashem for roiv of the things, then it's okay. So he says no, we say not that way. Maloich al kol ha'olam kulai, that the only way you can accept that Hashem is Melech, what it means is, al kol ha'olam kulai. Not rubai kekulai. We say a double lashon to say, Maloich al kol ha'olam kulai. The whole thing, not rubai kekulai. Every single step has to be a malach. It has to be that Hashem reigns over every single thing, not roiv. Not roiv, it has to be in everything. And now if someone accepts Hashem for most of the things, and not everything, then he's not included in the Maloich al kol ha'olam kulai. He didn't accept upon himself that Hashem rules on everything. Now, a lot of people look like I'm crazy. Of course, we accept Hashem for everything. But it's not that way. Unfortunately, we accept Hashem, we all believe in Hashem, we know Hashem's there, but we don't accept Him for everything. There are certain times that we do things and that we forget about Hashem. We're not taking Hashem into consideration, whatever the reasons are. So that's the tzedakah. Tzedakah, the tefillah of davening means, what does it mean? What What davening is, we're accepting Hashem as Melech in every single step, in every single way. It's not an easy job. But what Hashem wants for us on Rosh HaShana is that we should accept it and we should say that Hashem is the one who reigns over everything, every little thing, every step we do, what's going to happen, everything is from Hashem. Now if a person believes that, what happens is, this you already see a lot of times, is that a person gets upset at somebody else. Now why do you get upset at somebody else? Because they did something to you that you feel you don't deserve. Now if we believe that Hashem runs the world, and we believe that everything that happens to us is with a cheshbon, it's for a reason, so when someone did something to you and got you upset, or did something bad to you, what's the reason why he's doing it to you? The reason why he's doing it to you is because you deserve it. Nothing would happen to a person if not for the fact that he deserves it. You're right. That person is going to get punished for it. Don't go around hitting people and saying, I'm doing it because if I'm doing it, it must be that you deserve it. Because the shliach who's doing it, he gets punished because you don't have to be the one to do it. Somebody else could do it. So the fact that you decide to be the one to do it, for that you get a punishment. You may say, if everyone's going to say that, then no one will ever get the punishment. And so unfortunately, there's plenty of people besides you that are willing to take it, to do it. So you don't have to worry about that. So if a person would really believe in everything, in every step, that there's Hashem there, he'll never get upset at somebody else. When something happens to him, he'll have no tightness to Hashem, because there's a reason for everything that's happening to him. So this Maloich HaKol Ha'olam Kuloi, to accept it and to believe it, it sounds very easy, but it's not so easy. It's not such an easy thing. So even if somebody says that, tshuva taught me to do tshuva, but I want to do the tefillah, I want to do the tzedakah, it's also not so easy. It may be easier than doing tshuva, but it's also not so easy. But that's what Rosh Hashanah is all about. The Maloich HaKol Ha'olam Kula B'chodecha. A person has to accept it upon himself, and Hashem sees that really, I don't want to do that various. Really, I want to do tshuva, but it's hard. But one thing you have to know. You have to know that Hashem is the one that runs the world, and that's the avodah of the Rosh Hashanah davening. Rosh Hashanah davening, even Shefer, one of the reasons is, Shetamlechuni Aleichem, they should make me a king over you. The avodah of Rosh Hashanah isn't as much tshuva as it is on Yom Kippur. It's more accepting that Hashem is Melech. There's a story, I think we said the story last year. The guy who was in trouble,
and
with the lawyer.
And
I say the story again. It's a good story to know. I think the story happened 2 years ago before Rosh Hashanah. The story came out. Maybe it was 3 years ago. I don't know how many years ago it was.
True. The story is
true. True story. True story. There's different gears to the story. Of course, we know every story has different ways of saying it. I'm going to try to stay to the core of the story without all the embellishments of the story. But there was a person who, there was a Siyum in Israel. There was a person who was in the 70s, and they made a Siyum HaShas, or Siyum HaMasechta, I think it was, and he made a whole big Siyum, this person, and he said he's giving a Sudas Eidah. And everyone asked him, what happened? He said, I'm going to share with you a story that I've been holding in for many years, and now I decided it's time for me to share the story. And what was the story? This person, after the war, he came to America. He lost his father. He just had his mother. They didn't have any money. So he started to handle, to try to make some money. And he was doing little, business deals on the side, whatever it was in those days, in the early 50s or 60s it was. And eventually, in order to make some big money, he ended up falling into the wrong group of friends. And he ended up doing, things he shouldn't be doing. And one day he had this big deal, and he was very excited about it. And he met the person who he was supposed to have a deal with in a restaurant, whatever it was, and they closed the deal. And after they closed the deal, the guy pulls out his badge. He says, I'm from the FBI. And this thing was all a setup. The whole thing was a setup, and just to get you in trouble. It was what do they call it?
Entrap.
A sting, whatever they call it.
A sting.
A sting operation. Yeah, it was a sting operation. So they had everything against this guy. They had, tape recorders. They had everything they needed against this guy. They had. So this guy didn't know what to do. He says, I was 22 years old then, and they were talking about 25 years in prison. 25 years in prison for a 22-year-old boy is basically his whole life.
Whole young life.
So he said, what am I going to do? He didn't know what to do. So he got the best lawyer. And this guy had a lot of money. He said, I had a lot of money back then because I was dealing with these things a lot. I hired the best lawyer. And I come to his office, and I sit down with him, and he says, yeah, I know your whole story. I got the report. And I'll tell you the truth. I really don't want to take on this case because there's a very, very slim chance that you're going to win. They have everything against you. They taped everything. They have papers that you signed. They have everything against you. There's no way you're going to win this case. So the judge says, so why are you doing it? He said, there's one small thing that I think I could do to save you. I could try to play with the judge's emotions and say, you're only 23 years old, give you another chance, and maybe there's a slight chance the judge will have some pity on you and he'll either lighten the sentence or do something. But besides that, there's no way that you're in this case. So this guy left the lawyer's office. He says, I was walking in the streets and I was totally broken. Finally, I sat down in a coffee shop and I started crying. Because I know the lawyer, the biggest lawyer, couldn't save me. Then who is going to save me? And he says I was crying and crying, and this old man sits down next to me. And he says, what's the matter? Remember the story, Mero? Remember this? He says, what's the matter? So he says, I have tzaras, I'm telling you. He says, share with me tzaras, and I'll see if I can help you. He says, no, you don't know what tzaras mean. He tells this old man. So the old man pulls up his sleeve and shows him he has a number on his hand. He says, I don't know what tzaras are. Believe me, I know what tzaras are. So the boy said, listen, I had no choice. The guy's going to do that to me. I have to share with him my story. So I started telling him my story. So he says to me, the only person who can help you out is the Skoldia Rebbe. Skoldia Rebbe, he lives, I forgot where he lived then. Go to the Skoldia Rebbe and Skoldia. Not the Skolender, the Skoldia Rebbe. Go to him, he'll help you out. So this boy says, I went to the Skoldia Rebbe. Now, he was Fry. He was a Fry boy. He wasn't religious at all. And he goes to the Skoldia Rebbe and he comes upstairs. Didn't speak Yiddish, this guy. And he's having a hard time communicating with the Skoldia Rebbe. But he tells the Skoldia Rebbe, so I think what he said was, when I came into the Skoldia Rebbe, if I remember correctly, the Skoldia Rebbe says, welcome. I know your problem. I know you're in trouble. And he told him exactly what was going on. Once he heard that, he was like, okay, so if you know already, so what do I do? How do I get out of it? So he says, Skoldia Rebbe sat and he thought, and he says, everything's going to be okay. Starts laughing, and says, everything's going to be okay. Don't worry about it. Okay, he walked away. The Skoldia Rebbe sat down. See what happens. It comes the day of the court case, and he comes to court. 9 o'clock was the court case. His lawyer is not there. They're waiting. Everyone comes into the courtroom. His lawyer is not there. So the judge says, where's your lawyer? He says, I don't know. He hasn't shown up. So I'll give you 5 minutes. Go outside, try to get hold of your lawyer. So he calls up the firm, and the firm says, oh, we're trying to get a hold of you. We're very sorry, but the lawyer was in an accident on the way to the courthouse. We're sending you somebody else. Somebody else. This is the guy who knows my case. We're sending you somebody else. Fine. A few minutes later, in walks, he says, a 23-year-old boy who looks like he just came out of college. And he says, hi, I'm your lawyer. He says, you're my lawyer? What do you mean? You're a young guy. He says, yeah, but they sent me. He says, no, I need a professional. He says, don't worry, everything's going to be okay. I'll take care of it for you. He says, no, I need a professional. I'm your lawyer, everything's going to be okay. So he says to him, did you ever win a case before?
It's my first case.
He says, this is my first case. So you can imagine, I was going through the floor. So the judge gets up and he says, tells the FBI to give their case, the prosecutors to go ahead and give their case, and they give their case, and they give all the proofs and everything, and the guy gets up there afterwards, the defendant's lawyer gets up there, and he says, Judge, the proofs are no proofs. The tape recorders is nothing. The signatures don't mean anything. It's all not true, and it's nothing. He sits down. So everyone's looking, what do you mean? Give a reason why it's nothing. So the judge then starts questioning the prosecutor. oh, so okay, are we sure it was the right tape? And that's asking questions to him. Then he adjourns, and everyone comes back in. Everyone comes back in, and the judge says the verdict is that he's innocent. There's no conclusive evidence. Everyone was shocked. The evidence they had was so conclusive that no, everything's fine. So the guys are excited, and on the way out, he asks the lawyer. This new lawyer says to him, I don't understand, how did you win the case? You didn't say anything. So he says, you see the judge? He's my grandpa. The judge is my grandpa.
I have to wear my first big coat.
And he felt bad for me. It's our first case. So he wanted to help me out. So he helped me out. That was the story. So this story came right before Rosh Hashanah. True story. So this guy said that he's giving a Suda Seidon now for that. Oh, then he said he went back to the Skol Yorab afterwards, told him what happened, and he asked the Skol Yorab, and he wanted to give him money, pay for it. He said, I don't want anything from you. I want one thing from you. Put on tefillin every single day, and that's it. And he says from then he started putting on tefillin every day, and he became frum, and he was a new person. He left his old ways behind him, and this was many, many years later. They said the story. So I heard the story. The story came out like 2-3 years before Rosh Hashanah, and I heard it from Ephraim Waxman, and he says that it's a lesson for us, Rosh Hashanah. When we come in to Rosh Hashanah, it depends how you're coming in. If you look at Hashem, the judge, as your father, and you know he does what he wants, then he'll say the proof is inconclusive, and let us go free. But if we don't come in that way, we think we're smarter, we think we know better, and we can do things that Hashem doesn't like us to do, then already you're in trouble. So the main thing is you have to come into Rosh Hashanah knowing that Hashem Hashem is our Father, and He cares about us, and He does what He wants. That was the message He gave. I said the story over once in the shul. I want to say where it was, and I mean most people think it's a very nice message. I had 2 or 3 people come over to me afterwards. I said it to a bunch of kids as a story once by Mata Shabbos. And 2 or 3 people came over to me afterwards, and they said to me, you shouldn't be saying that story. I said, why not? Because you're teaching kids that you can do wrong and get away with it. That's what the guy told me. 2 people came over, 2 or 3 people. You're teaching kids that you can do wrong and get away with it. That's what he said.
That's how they took it.
But that's what I took out of the whole story. I said to him, you missed the boat. The story is not teaching kids they could do wrong. The story is that you could do tshuva. The story is that you could do tshuva. And if you have the right person to help you out, you could do tshuva. That's called not being down the kavschus. If you want to know. But before we finish it, I have to do some halachas of Rosh Hashanah. I can't just end up with stories and.
Those were good.
So one thing which I find, 2 halachas I like to speak out, just to be yaitzer, halachas. 2 things. First of all, on the second night of Rosh Hashanah, when we make a shechiyanu. So we know we make a shechiyanu on the second night. It's a question if the shechiyanu on the second night, we're supposed to make a shechiyanu or not. Very briefly, the difference between Rosh Hashanah and all other Yom Tovim is, all other Yom Tovim, there's a Sveika Diyema in Chutz La'aretz. It's 1 day, 2 days Yom Tov. So each day is considered like the first day Yom Tov, and therefore you make a shechiyanu on the second night also without any questions. Because it's a 1 day Yom Tov, and then the second day, it could be it's the first day Yom Tov, so it's 2 days because of a suffix. Rosh Hashanah is not that way. Rosh Hashanah, even at the Shul, they keep 2 days Yom Tov. Why is that? Because it could be Rosh Hashanah is a Yoima Arichta, meaning it's 1 long day. Its second day is not a new day. It's 1 long day. So therefore it's a suffix, we're not sure if Rosh Hashanah is 2 separate days, or it's like 1 long day of Yom Tov. So therefore we have a shayla about Shechiyanu by Kiddush, so you make a Shechiyanu. Shechiyanu is only the first time, the beginning. So if the first day wasn't Yom Tov, the second day is Yom Tov, you make a Shechiyanu again, because maybe today is the first day Yom Tov. Rosh Hashanah you don't have that, or it's a suffix if we have that or not. So therefore we make a Shechiyanu the second night by Kiddush, it's a suffix if you should make a Shechiyanu. So therefore we have the new fruit, the second night Rosh Hashanah. Every other Yom Tov, we don't have it. Only Rosh Hashanah. So you make the Shechiyanu on Kiddush, you have in mind also the new fruit, not only the new fruit, also the new fruit, and therefore you can make the shechiyanu, because if it doesn't go on the kiddush, then it'll go on the new fruit.
The new fruit has to be on the table, right?
The new fruit has to be on the table and make the shechiyanu. And not just that, when ladies make a shechiyanu when they madlik neiris, when they light candles, they also have to have the new fruit in front of them. Because they have the same issue with the shechiyanu that we have by kiddush. But then also the halacha is they have to eat the new fruit. You can't make shechiyanu, new fruit, and not eat
Let's
it.
start with a pomegranate.
Wait, one second. So
how
what
many
is the
people
ladies?
finish?
So what are the ladies?
Okay, so 1 second. We'll get to
A lot of questions.
We'll get the pomegranate in a second. So you have to eat the fruit and you make the shachyan on it.
Right.
So therefore, when you make kiddush, right away you should eat the new fruit
And by
and make a very pretty eights and eat the new fruit. Some
Before you
people
wash?
do it after they wash, but in halacha it's brought down that you should do it before you wash, because otherwise it's a hefsek. You make kiddush, you say the shachiyanu, you're not eating the fruit. You're going to wash. What happened to the shachiyanu? You have a hefsek. So
what
therefore,
about ladies?
halacha it said you should make the shachiyanu. You should eat the new fruit before you wash. I know about people that have the minhag to do it after they wash. I'm assuming the reason is because they hold that it's a hefsek between the kiddush and the suda.
Right.
So maybe they hold that it's better to do it afterwards. But l'maisa, halacha it's brought down.
You make a bracha achrona before you
No,
go
no,
wash.
no.
Oh no, so that's also a
You
question.
don't eat.
Right, that's also a question. So you make what you should do is, or let's say for a minute differently, what you should do is you should make kiddush, shachiyanu, make ha'etz on the fruit, and eat a piece of the fruit. Now, if you eat a big piece of the fruit, you have to make a bracha achrona on it before you wash. Therefore, don't eat a big piece. You can eat a small piece of the fruit, or if you have fruit at the end of the suda, have in mind that this fruit, this ha'etz should be for the fruit at the end of the suda also, and then you don't have to make a bracha achrona.
No, if it's before you're washing, it's a problem.
If you have in mind the fruit in the suda, that's not a problem. If you're not going to have fruit later on, then it's a problem. Or eat less. Eat
What
less
about
than the
the
shear.
ladies you just said?
So what do ladies do? So therefore, a lot of people have the minhag that what ladies do is they light candles right before
Right,
kiddush,
Kiddush.
and then you make kiddush, and then they eat the fruit afterwards. If you light way beforehand, then you make shachyan on the fruit. You're not eating it. It could be an issue. So a lot of people, the wives light the candles.
The second day.
The second day, yeah,
First
the
day's
second
no
day.
problem.
First is the problem with shachyan.
Or
Now-
what they can do is women don't make a shechiyanu.
What about eating
You're
a
telling your
We'll make shachyan.
Maybe they don't.
No, it should make shachyan.
Should?
Should make shachyan.
What's the
So
pomegranate?
pomegranate today, I would say pomegranates today. Yeah, if it's a pomegranate, right? If it's a pomegranate, eat a seed. If you eat a seed of a pomegranate, then you have to make a bracha achrona on that already. I said eat less than a shear. Eat a small piece. Right. So if you're eating a pomegranate,
Yeah.
then eat one
Yeah.
seed. It's
Yeah.
called a berry,
Yeah.
and a berry is already a suffix if you have to make a bracha achrona on
What
it.
is it?
So don't eat a pomegranate. Eat something else. Anyway, to use pomegranate shechiyanu these days,
It's a problem.
you probably cannot.
It's around all year
We
round.
all eat
Yeah, you eat pomegranates all year round.
So what can you eat?
There's plenty of fruits. You go to the fruits, they find a lot of funny fruits that come out
Dragon
now.
fruit.
Yeah, for sure.
Dragon fruits you don't have all year.
Yeah, what if
Most people don't.
That's
Yeah.
the
Or the
problem.
star fruit.
There's plenty of fruits today. They have now before Rosh
Those tiny
HaShana.
cherries.
They have tons of fruits.
So you don't eat a kazayas, that's the idea.
Don't eat kazayas. Eat, make your eight, eat less than the kazayas,
Before the wash.
and then wash.
You started to say what women do. You started to say they
So
light
women,
candles.
they light candles, and
Right
then
away.
right away the husband makes kiddush, and then right after kiddush they eat the
Your
fruit.
wife waits till you come home.
What about the shofar?
So shows a problem. Shows a problem that the second day of Rosh HaShana, so you make shechir, or can you make a shechir on new food, you can't eat it. It's a problem. So a lot of people do is there's a question if you can make a shechiyanu.
Clothes.
Tie.
Yeah, some people put on new
You
clothing.
put a new shirt.
Goes
Put on a new shirt, you can't make shechiyanu. Has to be a new suit,
I get
new
excited about a new
talbis.
shirt.
Shechiyanu by Tki Shef for the second day is not so simple. It's much harder to take care of.
Don't blow the shofar.
I know.
We don't have that problem.
Everyone should have a good kibbutz shiur.
Amen. Siva Sota, good
Yeah.
Mashiach
Yeah.
to you.
I think we have 10 here.
We had 10, we don't have any more. Check it out.